Welcome back to Let's Play Darkest Dungeon. I'm your host, Timepants, and today we are heading to the Courtyard once again. I have a party all in order here, and I really like what we're working with. First off, I know that we just did the Courtyard, but, I mean, for one thing, you know, it's a new playground. It's a brand new place for us to run around and kick it. I think it's going to be awesome. On top of that, I might be mistaken here, but I just really want to get some of those new unique trinkets, such as this one. And I was under the impression that you can get those trinkets if you like actually do the Courtyard runs, like the regular runs. I might be mistaken. I'm fully willing to accept that very likely I am mistaken, but I think it is worth a try. So I hope you will bear with me while we run this dungeon again. And if you're, slapping your forehead saying, Timepants, no, like, obviously not. You can't get the new trinkets in the Courtyard until, like, you've beaten, like, the final boss of the DLC. I appreciate you to mention it in the comments, because I'm playing completely blind here. Like, the best advice I've been given has been from the comments, because, yeah, I haven't looked anything up. Just 1 minute. What is that? That is Boulevard the Sixth Glass. A quadruple ale. That is literally 4 ales condensed into the size of one single bottle. It's amazing. Is that really what it is? I think yes. I'm pretty sure that's how science and density work. So, I like this party. We are running a rank 2 occultist because, yes, we can get an early Stoon very easily. He's fast, so he can mark, and I think we just take this. Great. I clearly over-prepared on the blood, but yeah, honestly, you can't be too prepared. That's unfortunate. Okay. Let's start talking priority here. This thing's gonna get a swing on us, but honestly, I think that's fine. Hopefully we can target whistle. And yeah, it's a bit of a waste marking twice. I'll fully admit that. And yeah, this asshole getting all the way back here in round 1 is real bad. Well, that is why we brought the laudanum. Gosh. Unfortunate. And yeah, what a waste of a first round. But, I mean, really, what can you do? Because, yeah, wasting too much time shuffling everybody back into order is, honestly, I think, yeah, I think shuffling everybody back into order is such a huge investment of time and resources that we honestly can't justify it. This has not been going well, but fortunately, we do have our insatiable ghoul back in striking range, so we'll take down the rest of his protection. Obviously, the dodge might be advantageous here, but I don't think it's such a big concern. We're going to have 2 big swings on him. Hopefully we get another bleed, and this might do it. Okay. God damn. What resists horror? Is it just debuff resist? I mean, that would make sense. Well, there goes all of our laudanum. That went fast. I am genuinely saddened at that turn of events. Let's get back in our marching order. That's going to be a lot of stress, no doubt about it. And I think we take this opportunity to get Cry Havoc, so hopefully we can get some of our stress back. Honestly, we've got so much blued, even if he gives us hot garbage, which he did. It's not, like, it doesn't sting that badly. I am actually just fine with leaving all of that behind. We have probably a half dozen of most of those Trinkos, and anything that we don't, it's because we sold it because they suck. So our scouting here is bad. There's no question about it, but this is fine. Honestly, there's so many opportunities here for us to to make back some of the losses of that last fight. So I am genuinely much happier. I'm in a much better place with the Crimson Court DLC since last we spoke. I was speaking of it in sort of reserved terms last time. I still, fully admit that I wasn't 100% on board with everything that the Darkest Dungeons is doing, and in some ways I guess I'm still not, but I feel like we're reaching a good balance. We're kind of we're kind of swinging, like, basically the pendulum, or Red Hook's balancing seems to follow a pendulum, where things are, far too, at some point, far too easy, and then they swing back to far too difficult, and then they're far too easy again, and then far too difficult. And it takes them a few swings before they really hit a sweet spot, and you know what? I think we ditch it. Yeah, I think we ditch it. Yeah, they really do take a little bit to find their sweet spot, but once they do, it's sublime. It's a wonderful experience to play a finished or fully realized Red Hook game. And I really only have one grievance, and I'm hoping that that's going to be addressed by completing the DLC, and that is, like, infestation. Like, since they seriously dialed since they seriously dialed back on, like, the on the potency of the like the Crimson Curse infection, since they kind of did away with that, this game is in such a better place. Like, really, honestly, truly, what this game needed was just for them to kind of cool it on the Crimson Curse. Like, I understand that's your new mechanic. You want everybody to experience it and experiment with it. I totally get it. I really understand. That said, it drove everyone fuck crazy. Like, people were understandably, pissed that their characters were just succumbing to this horrible disease. Basically, basically just as a matter of course. Like, this isn't even something that it felt like oftentimes you had much of a say in. Just, if you walk into the Courtyard, or if you are at level, or if you are at medium level infestation or higher, sorry, like, this is life now. You're just going to eat a shit ton of yeah, you're just going to eat just a shit ton of Crimson Curse. It's just going to completely devour your party. I hope that wasn't a quest item. Yeah, it was aggravating, and it didn't feel like rewarding or fun when you like overcame a boss and managed to shrug off the threat of the Crimson Curse. Instead, it felt like, oh, about goddamn time, now I can like return to a normal life again. That's, I don't think, the sign of a good mechanic, or a mechanic that people really feel happy to play with. It feels like an irritation and something that you've just kind of got to deal with rather than something you can experiment with. You know, some of the trinkets actually do have some interesting effects for characters that have the Crimson Curse. Like, it's honestly, well, it has the potential to be a very cool mechanic. You know, building a party that is designed to just run around stark, batfuck crazy, and thirsty for blood. Like, there's definitely an opportunity for some fun to be had there. But when you get caught up in just sort of this mental attitude that we just have to force the character, or have to force the player, rather, to run out and deal with this. You know, we have to incentivize going out and curing the Crimson Curse above all else. We have to make it this imperative that the player really, you know, wants to deal with as soon as possible. There's some space there for some fun, but yeah, it's yeah, you run the risk of making the curse just too powerful to the point where here we go. Oh, is this unique? I don't know. Probably. Maybe. I don't know. But we'll take it. Over what? Yeah, if you make it so bad that the player has no choice but to quit putting it off and go deal with it, like simply because the game becomes borderline unplayable, especially with, you know, 4 characters with bloodlust who are all craving and slowing the party down and acting out. God, that just, what a nightmare. So, anyway, all this to say, I approve. The DLC's finally back in a good place, and somebody in the comments said, I really hope that Red Hook, you know, kind of builds off of the success that they have, that they've managed to, that they've managed to sort of claw out of this game, or this DLC, just kind of rearranging it into something, you know, functional and fun and playable. I agree. I really, really hope that that the lessons that Red Hook has learned are put to good use, and I have no reason to think that the next DLC won't have the same pendulum issue. But by the same token, I think it definitely still possesses the capacity to have learned and iterated from this first experience, which was admittedly one that people were a bit ambivalent about, and I think justifiably so. So how's this run going? Really well. Really, really well. This is a very solid party. Not quite enough, huh? Oh, that kind of sucks. Yeah, this is a really solid party. Now, there is another party that I have been wanting to mess around with for a while. I have done a couple of trial runs with it, and by trial runs, I mean actually did a recording that I fully intended to upload, and it turned out to be just an unmitigated disaster. How unmitigated, you ask? Very good question. Well, where to begin? Oh, okay. By like the fourth room of a long dungeon, I was at like 35 minutes into the recording. It was bad. It was awful. Like, nobody wanted to watch that. So honestly, at the very end of that episode, I was just talking to myself, and I said, this is probably going to be another lost episode, but I wouldn't expect this one to ever see the light of day. It was really, really bad. Release it! No, I'm not gonna release it. Like, maybe on April 1st, but honestly, if this is something that interests you, let me make a suggestion. Instead of watching this absolute shit show, why don't you instead go out, volunteer? It ended up being an hour, all told. So why don't you instead go out, volunteer an hour of your time at, you know, someplace within your community, do some good work for some people, you know, basically do anything, any investment of your time would be better than watching the crap that this ended up being. It was really bad. So I'll tell you the party composition, and hopefully my you can kind of follow my mindset. Now, admittedly, this was a party that this was a party that I kind of deliberately constructed from, you know, bits and pieces of, I don't want to say better parties, but I basically, you know, took characters that I thought had interesting mechanics, and, you know, I kind of put them to work with the mentality that, you know, all of these characters have very cool mechanical abilities, really fun stuff to mess around with, and you know what? Hopefully, god damn. Hopefully, we'll be able to sort of cobble something together that that, you know, resembles a very interesting novel party that is better than some of its parts. Unfortunately, what I came up with was Abomination, front row Abomination. Gosh, I'm having a tough time remembering. I think I blocked it out because of the trauma. What was it? Okay, it was front row Abomination. Second rank was Bounty Hunter. Third rank was Occultist, and then back rank was Jester, with the idea that, you know, they would slide up to the front and do a finale. How did it work? Well, the long mission was lived up to its namesake. It ended up being like 57 minutes, and basically what ended up happening was I had spent so much time like trying to make everybody's individual skills work, you know, like trying to have the Abomination shapeshift at the right time, trying to, where's our quest item? Yeah, I was trying to, you know, get the the abomination to shapeshift at the right time. I was trying to mark so the bounty hunter could reach his maximum efficacy. I was trying to, yeah, I was trying to make sure that the jester was in position and that there was an enemy in range for him to drop some ouch on. And all of these mechanics worked, but they're all at odds with each other because they all require like setup. You know, you can't just pop the abomination all the time. You have to manage his stress. But if you have to manage his stress, then you're going to be then you're going to be investing a lot of your turns that you'd be using buffing and trying to get finale ready to go.
The serum is working.
And, you know, meanwhile, your cultist, he's the only healer. You're going to need him to be marking. And, yeah, your bounty hunter is not going to be running that efficiently unless somebody's marked. It was a huge train wreck. I actually did upload it. I just took one look at the runtime, and like the commentary was basically me apologizing and like, yeah, vacillating between like self-pity and trying desperately to keep everybody alive. It was horrible. But I've finally kind of got a similar party concept that I'm going to experiment with in the next run, so stick around for that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.